morning, Steph. We're back. How's it going?
Yeah, not bad. Just just stayed up late to watch Royal Rumble last night.
Was it good?
It was actually quite good. Speed got absolutely.
I show Speed was in it.
Yeah, well, yeah, because Logan Paul's in it, and then he got Anyway, Speed basically was a late surprise entry, and he got speared into oblivion. I'm sure he'll have some stuff on his Instagram on his battle wounds, but yeah, it was good. It was a good watch. At least it's a fight that it was lots of fights that I was enjoying watching, and probably not less so much the one later on tonight between Milan and Inter.
Oh God, yeah, that's going to be something.
That fight. Yeah,
and we're here to talk about finally having a striker. We're going to discuss Gimenez. I know the official announcement hasn't gone out as of recording on Sunday morning, but it is confirmed he is a Milan player. So we thought this would be a good time for us to have a laser focus on all things Gimenez, the fact that we finally spent a substantial amount of money on a striker. So, Steph, what are your thoughts, mate? What are your thoughts?
Yeah. It's a bit of a shame we can't get him in for the derby later on.
Yeah.
But like
penny pinching.
Yeah. I mean, penny pinching, and it's what it is, isn't it? Look, he probably was gonna be too late anyway for him to come in and integrate himself into training, probably at best being a sub off the bench, but here we are. But I mean, let's pass the game. I mean, there's a lot of great stories. I mean, some interesting stories in it. We just drew Feyenoord in the Champions League next round, haven't we?
Couldn't write it. You can't write it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think we have to kind of probably look back to what we were talking about a month ago, and the lack of spend that we've done in the summer. Sorry, in any market to sign a centre forward, and I mean that game midweek was just atrocious. We spoke last week on two big games against Parma and Zagreb, and we made a meal of the Parma game, came away within the last couple of seconds with a winner. But the writing was on the wall. The warning signs were there that this squad isn't good enough. We've all been saying this, and in Zagreb was just what a catastrophe on every level. But what you could probably highlight and see, and what was clear was Morata coming off at half time, down to 10 men. Because in my head, I think you kind of want someone that's a worker in that sort of game when you're down to 10 players, and you want someone who's going to chase the ball, give a lot of energy. I mean, we all know that Morata's not good enough and is obviously gone now to Galatasaray, but that was an indictment on his position and probably Conceição's feelings about Morata. The fact he took him out and kept Leao and put him on as a false nine, that says enough about he just doesn't want him here. So really happy that we've made a move to get rid of that and make amends the error of the summer. And bringing in Gimenez, I guess let's focus on him. And that he's in a massive purple patch of form. Goals in the Champions League, goals domestically. I think he got sort of over 26 goals last season.
Yeah.
Smashing it this season as well.
He's the best striker in the Eredivisie. I mean, that's kind of a fact, which is great. Yeah.
Which is, it's hard to, it's always hard with leagues like the Eredivisie and Portuguese league, French league, that you always worry that is that going to be a big step up to them when they move to, like, let's say La Liga, Serie A, Premier League. But you have to give it a go at the same time. You can't keep saying, oh, they're just not ready for it. Their league's just worse than ours. We could say the same thing about Gyökeres at Sporting. But at the end of the day, the player's putting up a lot of stats. I think if you watch him as a profile, he is finally someone that we need. And I think what was clear as day with Morata and I remember watching games like when we were playing against big centre forwards and the ones that would just bully the likes of Tomori.
Like Juric, even at Parma, the game,
Juric, is it Piccoli for Cagliari? Like, just bullying our players.
Luca Udinese, anyone like that.
And I don't want like a 6'7" centre forward who's just going to be like playing bully ball and like Peter Crouch-esque stuff, but like someone who's a bit more imposing in the box. Someone that they're not worried about having just one centre back on the player, because they should be worried about how clinical and lethal that player is. And we haven't had that sort of striker for a while, have we? And I'm hoping this is it. I really hope this is someone that we can leverage counter-attacks on, leverage build-up play on, leverage crosses into the box for, that he's a threat because he's physically commanding, good in the air, great left foot.
That's what I want to. He's a left-footed striker. That is the thing that I'm actually most excited about. And I know I'll go on to my piece in a bit about what I think of him, but that I think is a massive positive.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
left-footed striker is just instantly an advantage. You know,
it's a win. It's a win for me. I mean, I'm purely left-footed when I play football, so I love seeing it because it's
nice.
And there's probably
they can always smack the ball harder. I know this is random, but it feels like a left footer could just hit a ball harder. I don't know why.
I've got a theory on technique with left feet, but yeah, no, I think it's there's bits there kind of reminiscent to obviously what Giroud brought with that left foot as well. And but look, I don't know what he's going to be. I think there's rumors that Shevchenko is going to be like announcing him,
unveiling him. That's
big, isn't it? Big, because
that's pressure, man.
Yeah, well, it's pressure, but then that's where like he's got to be ready for it. Like he's got to be ready for that pressure. It comes with that. He's not coming in, and I think this is probably the thing with like the banter era. Like when these strikers that we did sign for a lot of money were unveiled, it was, that love letter of the past was gone. It was a distant memory. Now it's kind of like, how do we draw out these legends and try to create new legends at the club? And it's big pressure, but like at the end of the day, that's a player you should be focusing your game on and hopefully trying to replicate. So look, I'll kind of end my starting point on just really excited that he's coming. I hope we do a good job in supplying him with great chances. I'm confident the likes of Leao, Theo Hernandez, Reinders, even like Fofana, Pulisic will do that. And just he needs to put them away. It's a league that he'll definitely learn a lot in, especially how defenders work, low blocks. It's completely different when you come to a club that typically, let's say, dominates possession or is the favourite in a game. Obviously, it was like that in Feyenoord, but there's probably more of an open play in the Dutch league to play good football. But he's going to have to learn a lot, learn quickly, and hopefully he smashes it. But I don't know what your thoughts on the player.
Yeah, I mean, I'm slightly more reticent to him as an overall choice. I'm not angry he's here though. Let's get that clear. I think for the money that we bought him for and what's available on the market now and in the summer, in the near future when we need one right now, there was scant options. There's not a lot out there, so I'm not annoyed that we've chosen Gimenez at all. I'm slightly reserved on him, mainly because yes, this might come across ignorant, but it isn't. I know the Dutch league not well. I don't watch it, but I've got some experience. I've actually been to De Kuip a few times when I was living in Rotterdam. Amazing stadium, amazing club, Feyenoord is. But I think that the level step up from the Eredivisie to the Serie A is ginormous. And there haven't been that many strikers that I can think of, really. The only one that has actually properly made it, and we're talking this far back, is Suarez. There's been lots of strikers that have come out of Eredivisie that have been in like middling clubs and done all right. Luke de Jong comes to mind off the top of my head. They tend to be really good midfielders, like obviously Reinders, de Jong, Van der Beek. I know he didn't make it, but he still was around. They're just, again, off the top of my head. Midfielders, I get it because of the total football philosophy in the Netherlands. But strikers, that's why I'm a bit reserved. But I did do a little bit of research when we were really heavily linked to him, because my preference is Jonathan David, mainly because I think he's proven and I can see him going to someone like Inter and doing very well. But I don't think we'll pay his wages because he's going to be a free agent. So I understand why we didn't go for David at the same time. But looking at Gimenez, his dribbling looks really nice for quite a big guy. I looked at that and I thought, oh, he can dribble a ball. That's quite. We haven't had that. Tammy's got a bit of a flicky, tricky, but it's not the same. So I like that a lot. The fact he's left-footed is fantastic. But my main reservation actually isn't about the player's ability. I think he could do really well. Is what you just said about the Shevchenko unveiling. I'm slightly concerned that he's going to need to hit the ground running straight away. And if he doesn't get, I don't know what we've got. How many matches we've got left? About 15, give or take.
Probably more than that. I'd say
a bit more
in the league. Yeah, it's probably about. I think we're just over the halfway mark. I'd say about like 17 or something. I think
if he doesn't get
the game in hand with Bologna as
Yeah.
well. So, yeah.
So okay, let's say it's 16 games. Let's cut it down the middle, right? I don't know. It might be 17 or 18, but let's say it's 16 games. I think he will be expecting to get probably, I think, 8 goals minimum with a few assists on top, like minimum. And that's what slightly worries me, because you look at CDK and you look at who else did we bring in that we got rid of? I can't think of the top of my head. But CDK is a great example. I know there were other reasons for it. I don't mind the player coming. I just want the management to, okay, they're doing this massive unveiling with Shevchenko, which is huge pressure. And I think it's a good thing, like you said, in a way, because if he's going to step up to it, that is the forum to go on and fucking smash it. But just give him time. Like, don't expect, if these next 6 months aren't great, to be like, flop instantly. That'll piss me off, even though he's not my first choice. That's what will annoy me.
Yeah, I don't think we'll have to be patient with it, because at the end of the day, with that money spent, it's kind of like management. Like we try to avoid this, but now you kind of get what you want. Like, as in, we're finally going to put the money down the table and sign a player above 30 mil. So they're going to have to, because even if he does drop, like, let's say for example 5 goals, so 17 games after the season. I've checked now in Serie A. There's obviously at very least 2 games in the Champions League against Feyenoord, home and away, and 1 game against Roma. So that is 20 games. So if with at least 20 games left on the calendar, that he will, be available for. Okay, let's say you take away 1 because he won't be ready for Inter. If he drops 5 goals, like, I mean, they're gonna have to be patient with it. But like, I'm honestly not expecting like a Piontek sort of immediate arrival where it was like goal a game, goal a game, goal a game. If it does, then I'll be pleasantly surprised. But I think the key thing is here that we've made an investment, that we have to be somewhat patient, or at least from a mid-season perspective. The only worry I have is probably more intrinsically as Milan fans, that we hang a lot of hope onto this signing as to fix our season. And the reality is, I think there was a lot of damage done in the previous markets that not one signing the striker will fix.
Midfielders, we're in agreement about a midfielder, right?
It's all well and good. We signed a centre forward finally, but fuck me, our midfield is bare bones. And I mean, clear as day, the shit show happened midweek with Musa was evident. If we're not going to invest in a centre forward, in a centre midfielder this winter as well, we run a risk from a wider squad perspective. But look, I mean, I 100% get your point on a worry if it's the right person. At the end of the day, I think we were going to. The problem is we've probably been so risk averse with signing a centre forward. We've done the opposite, and we just played kind of these safe options, which get fans even more pissed off. It's like, sometimes you have to risk it. I mean, look at clubs like Manchester United, who have dropped a lot of money for Højlund and Xerxes. Clubs like, like Arsenal dropped a lot of money on Kai Havertz, Jesus. Chelsea have done it over time, and this is just the Premier League. And like Vlahovic at Juventus right now, would you even consider that a transfer that has worked out? Dovbyk still has question marks at Roma. But you have to put yourself in that kind of, you've got to roll the dice to 100%. See. Otherwise, all you're doing is just playing it safe in a position that is so vital. Because if this does work out,
this could be amazing. Yeah,
it changes the dynamic of our team. We now turn ourselves away from okay, let's just mark out Leao and put a couple of bodies on Pulisic, and then that's it. The goal for it's done, because the other guys are just going to play DM for the rest of the game. Like, we have now potentially an option that defenders will be like, fuck, like, we have to put 2 guys on this guy, because, or even like, whether he scores penalties or whatever it is, if you can statistically add to this squad and just physically bring a presence that is like commanding in the box, it changes the philosophy of our game. And you may mention a good point, that he said he's good with the ball to feet on the counter attacks. Can we do more in transition? So, like, I think there's a massive opportunity right now for him.
Huge. And it's nice for a change, actually. I'll say to management, from the risk perspective, it's nice that we've bought a striker who's not too young. I think 23 is a really good age. He's clearly ready for that step up, and he's in form. Like, we haven't done that for a while. The bloke's in
Yeah.
form. I'll give him that. Like, he just banged 2 really good goals against Bayern Munich. Like, that's nice. That
a lot
is
of people
nice.
comparing it to Piontek because of that, and because it's mid-season.
Yeah.
He is in form. Look, at the end of the day, Piontek as well was a one-season wonder at the time.
Yeah, he was.
Gimenez has been putting up goals for a couple of years now, so let's be straight
in
with
the
that.
Europa League and in the Champions League, etc.
Yeah, and that's the thing as well. I was going to say, like, yes, it's in the Eredivisie, but like, I mean, what's his stats in the Champions League this season? Like, I know he put 2 against
4 or something like that, 3 or 4.
Oh, okay, yeah. He got 2 against Bayern.
Crazy.
I mean, 2 against Bayern and 1 against Lille this month. So he is in that form right now. It's not like he scored a couple against fucking Red Star Belgrade in September. We're talking about like right now he's scoring against big sides. So yeah, like, look, really exciting.
It is. I do want to say one thing about the risk thing. I think it's actually a bit twofold. And the only reason I say this is because of the nationality. And I'm pretty sure, I'll put it in the chat, but I'm almost certain he's the first Mexican to ever play for Milan. I'm convinced about that. Yeah. Not Vikash. You dick. Anyway, but when's the next World Cup next year? It's in USA, Mexico. Mexico's a massive country with loads of fans. We've got the captain of America's best ever player, and we've got Mexico's probably after Hugo Sanchez their best striking talent they've ever had. That's huge from a marketing perspective.
What if we do the trifecta? We can get David on a free in the summer, and that's
don't, mate, don't. That's the whole of North America and Mexico.
That's like, sweet. We consolidated the market.
But there are fans coming already.
It's feasible because
I'd love it, mate.
We're probably not going to sign Abraham outright. Why don't we put ourselves in the window?
Oh, don't, because it just costs you. It's just the wages, isn't it?
But we paid Abraham how much with this season?
4 odd million. It was close to it, or 3.5. It was top wage. Yeah.
So we put that towards that. We.
Oh, mate, I'd love that. North America, Canada, Mexico. We're laughing.
I think it's possible, and then you can talk about shifting more towards the idea that Conceição wants to play like a 4-4-2. I wouldn't write off. Write your dream off right now, but
never. But yeah, I think it's important to note that. I think Redbird have that commerciality in mind always. That's the bit they are annoyingly good at, even though we don't like management really at the moment. So that's really cool. I think next year, to have the 2 biggest nations represented with the 2 biggest players at Milan. That's especially if they carry on. If Pulisic carries on and Gimenez really kicks on, next year could be huge from that perspective.
Marketing wise,
But talk about formation. What are your thoughts then? Now we're bringing Gimenez in. What do you reckon?
Well, he obviously plays predominantly in a 4-2-3-1, I believe.
That's right. Yeah.
So it should just be kind of like slotting in like a glove on a hand. But I think the spearhead of a 4-3-3, which we're deploying quite a lot these days, is definitely where I see him at. I think the key thing definitely will be that sort of hold-up, link-up play, getting the ball to feet. I've seen quite a few of his goals actually have been sort of balls over the top as well. So that's quite exciting too. Feels like been the dawn of time since we've had a striker that is, playing on the offside trap or equally playing to the last defender.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I said, just creating all these different opportunities of chances that isn't just, Leao and his magic and then getting it to the byline and trying to see who's in the box, which he equally can still do and hopefully still feast on goals there. But definitely, I think just using his age right now and probably his skills, like let's say he has got great ball control, and like Tammy Abraham sometimes is a bit like like he wears Tims, isn't it? It's hard to it's inconsistent the way he controls the ball, and his technique is pretty shit. Whereas, I'm just really excited to see where he fits in that way. But I think formation will definitely be keeping with the 4-3-3 personally.
And that's what we're playing tonight, I believe, isn't it? Against Inter,
I think it's going to be Leao, Abraham, Pulisic, and then Benacer, Musa, and Reinders. So.
And do you reckon he'll get as soon as he's obviously been cleared? I don't know what our next game is, but. After Inter, would it be the final games that quickly? Is it that? I don't think it is. I think there's a week break.
We have really fucked up our calendar. We got Roma actually midweek, Coppa Italia.
So will he start there?
Hard to say.
I don't think he will.
I don't think.
I think
so.
they'll play Abraham because of the Roma thing as well.
I think he probably gets a start against Empoli next weekend.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah,
I think he does come off the bench though against Roma, because Tammy will, in theory, play like 90 minutes tonight against Inter.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, he'll come on the 60th, 70th minute, last half hour. Yeah, I agree.
And then big game after that. Rotterdam away.
You couldn't write that. Like I've read a few predictions. Basically, people saying that he's that in form that whoever has him, i.e., obviously was Feyenoord's player at the time, was going to win that tie because obviously we were so tumultuous. And the fact that we've taken their best player, I mean, we should be winning that game. Really, we really should be winning that 2-leg tie. But
I mean, when you look at February, it's not ideal because we just beat Zagreb. Like we've now just added 2 games in a calendar that the January was stacked. That's why, I think we just burnt out, and we are still kind of burnt out right now. So I'm not looking forward to it later on tonight. But we've now added 2 midweek games where we didn't need to, and it's let's say if we progress past Roma as well in the Coppa Italia, then there's going to be another 2 games, presumably against Inter, probably being locked in for March, April time. So
God, we play Inter so much these days. So
we might have to play them again if we beat Feyenoord.
7 times I heard. 7 times.
Hopefully 7 wins.
So what are you rating this then? If you were to give this,
I don't want to do that because I think I rated Morata quite high when I signed.
Yeah, I did as well, mate. I did as well.
I was like, Morata Pavlovic. Yeah, it's gonna have to be like 9 out of 10s. I can't rate this. I can't. I just don't want to jinx it. I just
smart.
I will go.
Are you happy with it then? Are you happy with it ultimately?
Yeah, I am happy with it. But kind of once again, I really hope we don't. I think fans' patience right now is at an all-time low. We are fed up of seeing. Obviously, the markets that they've. I do think there's. It's hard to because there's a bit where like does management stick to the market they did in the summer and try to prove it worked, or do they show face? Kind of, I think Isaac put it in a tweet saying like, do we show face? Clearly show that we made mistakes and rectify it. That's why they're looking to shift. Like they look to shift Emerson Rao. They look to shift Pavlovic. They've shifted Morata. They basically accepted that Abraham's not good enough as well with the signing of Gimenez. And obviously they didn't sign enough midfielders too. So like management have clearly put their hands up and gone like, we fucked up. And although it's kind of like confirming what we've all been saying, I am at least respectful for the fact that they're doing this right now. The only thing I'm a bit annoyed is that it's taken this long in January to do it rather than, I mean, we're filming this on the 2nd of Feb actually. With a few days left of the window where I think we still, we could have done this shit like half a month ago. We wouldn't have
100%.
Fucked up against Zagreb. We wouldn't have dropped the points that we have dropped in the league as well. We've just made the rest of the season much more difficult for ourselves now. But yeah, I mean, you can only go with at least the fact that they've dropped this money now on Gimenez. Finally, it's about time. It shouldn't be seen as like a here you go, this is a bonus. It's like, no, this should be the expectation because we know what we financially as a club, how good of a position we're in. And if we stopped to the point that we made before, being so risk averse and going players like free loans like Abraham, wherever it is, and or cheap loans for Abraham, and then signing Jovic as well. Like you sign 3 players when you could just sign 1.
Well, I said this: buy cheap, buy twice. That's what they've been doing.
And that result midweek was basically, I think I said something like, "You get what you don't pay for," and that's literally the case. But actually, no. The only exception to that is that you spent 20 mil on Musa, which was.
Let's not go down that road again. We'll probably talk about it tonight because the bloke will probably be playing for fuck's sake.
He'll throw us under the bridge later on tonight. But,
I just last thing I want to say before we wrap this one up, because obviously we've not seen the bloke play yet, but I just want to touch on the mental side of things, which is really important to the squad right now. I do think signing a striker who probably backs himself, who's in form, hopefully that'll lift the squad because they need that. You know, a new guy coming in who's confident, ready to play, a striker. I think the other players will be like, yeah, okay, fuck it, we need that boost. So I'm hoping that's the effect it has, because I'm worried about tonight's game, not really from a playing point of view. I think Conceição's tactics match up quite nicely to beat Inzaghi. I think he knows him well. I'm worried about it from a mentality perspective, this team. So yeah, let's hope that he also has an effect off the pitch, Gimenez as well.
I mean, Christ, we need that, 100%. But yeah, excited for the move. Finally, I think that's kind of like, now it's on to him. But yeah, we just got to back him. I hope he gets the number 7 or number 9 shirt, which he should at least get the 7. The 9, I would rip that shit off Jovic's back right now. Like, let's just be a bit more clinical and back him, because this is the number 9 signing that deserves a number 9 signing in theory. So
agreed.
Yeah, man. Yeah, can't wait.
Awesome. All right, we'll leave it there. Cheers, guys, for listening. Let us know what your thoughts are. Obviously, we've not seen him play yet. We're probably a couple of weeks away, maybe a week and a half from seeing him on the pitch. But yeah, do you like the signing? What are your thoughts, formation-wise? Get your comments in, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for listening.